Let's chat Manchester United now, and let's start with you, Ince. How poor were they last week?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't great, was it? I mean, and it's not so much about the result, you know. I think it's the way you lose games, you know. And, you know, watching the game last week, you know, they're playing the Brighton side who just got thumped by Watford the week before. You know, they should be going there on the front foot, you know, in their faces, creating chances. They didn't. They just sat back, and it was Brighton who actually were doing the pressing. And that's where they got a lot of their goals from. And it was just the performance of the whole team. The fact they looked frustrated. I'm not sure what the game plan was. You know, they didn't have a game plan for me. There was a time when they considered a penalty where they're trying to play it into Fred. I've never seen Mate Knight do that all season. So what they're trying to do with that, I don't know. So you can say it's only 2 games, but it's the fact is how they're losing these games. Even against Leicester, you know, Leicester controlled the games for many periods of that first game of the season. And you can see why the fans are getting a bit apprehensive.
Who's to blame then?
Listen, I just think the whole club's to blame. I think it's not just about Mourinho. I think, you know, Woodward upstairs, the Glazers, I think it's the whole club. It's kind of, there's a lot of things that are going on that we're not privy to, but I think it's everyone. I think the Pogba situation is a joke. I think it was rearing its head last season. Then you've got Pogba's agent coming out talking about Scalzi. It's got nothing to do with him. Now, this needs to be nipped in the bud, and it should have been nipped in the bud straight away. Now, Pogba should have come out and said he's happy. Mourinho says he's happy with Pogba. Pogba's not said a word. If that had been my time in our changing room, with the likes of Mark Hughes and Bruce and Robson, leaders, Pogba won't be doing acting the way he is.
What do you do, Paul? What do you do if you're Mourinho and your captain, Pogba, your £93 million signing is running amok? He's basically running amok. He's coming out and saying things like, well, you know, my attitude wasn't right. Your attitude's not right. It's unacceptable. Also, I think Mourinho is showing signs of being really, really bitter at what's happening across at Manchester City. You know, he wants a lot more money. He's spent £390 million. I think net spend is £303 million. But for me, some of the signings have not done it for him. And as I said, when you're captain, you know, your main man, if you like, is doing what he likes at the football club, rather than just concentrating on being a top player, which he is.
He played very well in the first game against Leicester. He didn't do well. Do you think he was misinterpreted, the attitude thing?
I'm going to tell you something now, all right? When I captained Man United, I thought Pogba was the best in that team against Brighton, out of a bad bunch. I thought it was the best one, OK? If I'd been captain after the game, I would have said exactly the same as what Pogba said. The attitude wasn't right, the intensity wasn't right, and people are trying to lambast him for saying that. That's something what...
Would you like to play for Mourinho?
Not the style that he plays. No, I wouldn't. But that's not the point. I think the problem with Mourinho and probably the Man United fans is...
But you'd win trophies playing under him.
Yeah, I win trophies, but it's not all about winning trophies. It's about the tradition that comes from Manchester United. Use that Man United serve. You know what the crowd expect the team
so
to
you're saying style over trophies, but United...
I'm saying both.
Yeah, but United aren't winning the big trophies.
Exactly. Listen, I'm not backing...
I'll ask a fan. We'll ask a fan. Let's bring Adam in from Full Time Devils. Adam, how are you?
I'm all right, thank you, apart from the football.
You're listening to this debate then, you know, is it style over trophies, trophies over style? As a Manchester United fan, you know, are you enjoying the football? What's your thoughts?
I haven't enjoyed the football for a very, very long time, to be honest. There's been odd spells or odd games where we'd have very good performances and you'd think, that's more like it, that's more like the Manchester United we come to know and love. But we haven't had that enough over the last year. And I think the problems at the club at the moment aren't all Jose Mourinho's fault. I think you look above him, the board, the Glazers, I think were mentioned already, are a big problem for him. But Jose Mourinho has made a lot of problems of his own. And I think if you look at the Pogba stuff, the Martial stuff, the Shaw stuff, etc., he hasn't really managed his squad very well. And I think he's started to lose a few of those players. And the result of Pogba, the digs at Pogba over 12 months are now coming to the forefront. And I think Mourinho has made it difficult for himself. He's made a lot of errors. And I think, yes, the board should have backed Mourinho a lot more. And in the summer, we should have got a centre-half, maybe should have got a full-back. But what you can say for certain is when you look at this team, there's far too many players that aren't playing to their full capability. And you can only look to the manager for that to get the best out of these players.
But surely, as an individual, when you cross that line, I see this debate: how many players has he improved? But when you sign for Manchester United, surely you should be at a level where, okay, you can improve all the time. We know that, but
Robbie, you've played football, and you know, like obviously I've not played football at any sort of level compared to you guys, but you know that your manager does so many things. Like the manager's in control of not only transfers, but training, tactics, formations, press conferences, interviews, this, that. And if your manager has a negative approach, eventually it's going to rub across on the team. All I've heard from Jose Mourinho in the press is how bad things are. I've never seen, oh, you know what? We've got a player that's just won the World Cup. Let's try and utilise that. Or we've got Romelu Lukaku, a striker who's had a great World Cup. We've got some fantastic players in his side. And when you look at the transfers he's made, he signed 2 centre-halves, Bailly and Lindelof. He signed Matic, Fred and Pogba. That's a full midfield. He signed Alexis Sanchez and Romelu Lukaku. So short of 2 fullbacks and a right winger, we've got the best goalkeeper in the world. He's signed a full team. And we've also got the likes of Martial and Rashford. And I think if I was those lads, would I want to be, if I wasn't a Manchester United fan, which obviously I am, so that would keep me that attention and that attraction to the club. But if I wasn't a Manchester United fan, would I want to play for this club?